No one expected this. After years of quiet tension and fake smiles on screen, Shaunie O'Neal finally snapped. At 55, the woman known as the Queen of Basketball Wives didn't just throw shade, she brought in the lawyers. In a move that caught everyone off guard, Shaunie sent a legal defamation notice to Brooke Bailey, her former co-star. And let me tell you, you won't believe what triggered it. This wasn't just reality TV drama anymore. This was war, and it was spilling out from behind the scenes into the courtroom. But this is how it all started, quietly, subtly, and with years of unspoken tension. On the show, Shaunie and Brooke had their on-camera laughs, their posed cast photos, and their moments of fake unity. But off-screen, there was mistrust from the beginning. Shaunie, being both the executive producer and a cast member, always had the upper hand. She decided what aired, what got cut, and who looked like the villain. And while many women played along, Brooke wasn't one of them. Brooke had always been bold. From day one, she walked into the show with confidence, unafraid to speak her mind, even when it rubbed people the wrong way. But this is where it gets interesting. The real drama didn't happen on set. It happened in editing rooms, in secret group chats, and in quiet one-on-one conversations where certain cast members were told what they should say and what they better not say. Insiders claim Brooke knew it. She felt it. And she started to resent it. By season 10, everything shifted. Brooke's screen time was cut, her storylines felt random, and something about her vibe changed. Fans noticed it too. Forums were filled with questions like, why is Brooke suddenly missing from group scenes? And why is everyone acting like she's not even there? But here's the craziest part. Rumors started flying that Brooke believed Shaunie was editing her out on purpose. Not for ratings, but to silence her. And then it got worse. Brooke began posting strange things online. Cryptic captions, shady likes, subtle jabs, nothing too direct, but enough that fans could connect the dots. And those dots all pointed in one direction, Shaunie. What made this story different? Brooke wasn't just throwing random shade. She was building up to something big. She was planning to go public with everything. According to insiders, she had an exclusive interview lined up where she would finally speak her truth and reveal the real basketball wives story, one filled with manipulation, power moves, and silence forced by contracts. But destiny took an unexpected turn. That interview never came out. Instead, within days of hearing about it, Shaunie's legal team moved fast. Brooke received a cease and desist letter, warning her to stop speaking publicly or face serious consequences. And that's when things exploded. Brooke went live on Instagram, not with quiet hints this time, but with direct accusations. She talked about a toxic work environment, cast members being used for drama, and producers, one in particular, pulling strings like puppeteers. She never said Shaunie's name, but let's be real, she didn't have to. As Brooke's Instagram Live made its rounds, the internet went wild. Fans, blogs, even former cast members started chiming in. Everyone had something to say. Brooke didn't name names, but her words were sharp enough to cut through the silence. She called out certain producers who smiled on camera, but sabotaged cast members behind it. She said people were edited to look angry, unstable, or dramatic, just to boost ratings, and others were protected, no matter what they did. But here's the shocking part. What Brooke said wasn't new. Not really. In fact, it lined up with whispers that had been going around for years. It's just that no one had ever dared say it out loud like this. Not until now. And let me tell you, this is where it got real. Because Shaunie wasn't just another reality star. She was the executive. She had power, money, and now a public image to protect. In recent years, Shaunie had moved on from just being a reality queen. She married a pastor, became a first lady of a church, and started rebranding herself into someone focused on faith, family, and inspiration. That made Brooke's live session even more dangerous. When Brooke said, "Don't be fooled," Some people been dirty since season 1. And then brought up producers and religion in the same breath. That was it. That wasn't just drama. That was a personal and professional attack. And it didn't stop there. Brooke started reposting fan comments, shady tweets, and memes. One tweet read, "Shaunie built her empire by hiding behind the edit room door." Brooke liked it. Another said, "Money and a preacher husband don't erase manipulation." Brooke reposted it with a laughing emoji. And that's when Shaunie's team moved from warnings to full legal mode. A formal notice was sent out, a detailed legal document accusing Brooke of defamation, false portrayal, and character assassination. It stated that Brooke's comments were misleading, harmful, and intended to destroy Shaunie's public image, especially her faith-based branding. The notice demanded Brooke take everything down, every post, every tweet, every live, and to never speak about Shaunie again in any way. But Brooke didn't just ignore the notice, she doubled down. She posted a new quote saying, "The truth is never defamatory. Silence doesn't heal. It protects abusers." And in the caption, she added, "If the shoe fits, ma, wear it. I said what I said." That line hit hard. It was bold, it was defiant, and it wasn't going away quietly. This is where it gets even messier. The cast started picking sides. Suddenly, people who had stayed quiet for years began posting cryptic messages too. Malaysia Pargo, who always kept her cool, posted on her Instagram story, "Sometimes silence isn't peace, it's survival. I'm proud of women who finally speak up, even if it costs them everything." She didn't name Brooke, but the timing was too perfect. Everyone knew who she was talking about. And then came the likes. Tammy Roman, one of the show's OGs, didn't say anything directly, but she liked tweets calling Shaunie a manipulator. One tweet she liked read, "Brooke just had the guts to say what others were afraid to." Fans noticed, they screen recorded, they posted. The message was clear. Shaunie had more enemies than she thought, and they were ready to speak. But Shaunie wasn't alone either. Her longtime friend and ride or die, Evelyn Lozada, came out swinging. In a post that's now deleted, she said, "It's always the same ones who laughed with you, ate with you, then cried wolf when they're not in the room anymore." She didn't tag Brooke, but come on, everyone knew. Evelyn also hinted that people were trying to stay relevant by attacking the OGs. In her eyes, this was just clout chasing. Yet, fans weren't buying it. Something was different this time. The support Brooke got was massive. Comments flooded in like, "She's risking it all for the truth." And if 3 or 4 former cast members are saying the same thing, maybe it's not hate, it's facts. People started digging. Old footage began to resurface. Reunion clips, behind-the-scenes leaks, even cast interviews where women hinted that Shaunie wasn't just another cast member. She was the puppet master. As the internet storm grew, so did the pressure on everyone involved. What started as Brooke's bold truth-telling had now turned into a full-on unraveling of years of reality TV secrets. The show wasn't just entertainment anymore. People were seeing it differently. And the more people watched, the more they questioned what they had been fed for over a decade. Old cast members started crawling out of the shadows. People who hadn't spoken about basketball wives in years suddenly had something to say. Brandy Maxiell posted a throwback photo with a caption that read, "Crazy how when you don't play the game, they edit you out of the story." Fans knew exactly what she meant. Brandy had always been one of the few who challenged Shaunie on screen, and she paid for it with less screen time and eventually an exit from the show. Even some crew members started dropping hints. One anonymous page that claimed to be run by a former producer began spilling tea. They posted, "Y'all don't even know the half. Some scenes were filmed twice. Some people were told exactly what to say. And yes, favorites were protected, especially her." No name mentioned, but everybody knew who her was. This wasn't just drama anymore. It was an exposure, a reality reckoning. People started piecing things together. Old storylines that didn't make sense, fights that seemed too perfectly timed, women suddenly becoming villains after one disagreement. It all started to look like a calculated setup. And Brooke, she became the voice of the silenced ones, the whistleblower. But with that came consequences. Shaunie's legal team moved in harder. They filed an official cease and desist, not just to Brooke, but also to several blogs and fan pages who were reposting Brooke's content and accusing Shaunie of manipulation. The message was clear: stop talking or get sued. But that move backfired because now the fans were even more curious. If it was all lies, why so much effort to shut it down? Brooke refused to be intimidated. She hired her own legal team, and then she dropped the biggest bomb yet: a podcast appearance. In that episode, calm, measured, but brutally honest, Brooke told stories that had never been aired. She talked about scenes being deleted when they made certain people look bad. She described moments where producers encouraged fights, where cast members were told lies about each other just to stir drama. And then she said it. There were girls on that set crying in their dressing rooms, begging to go home, and they weren't allowed to. You signed a contract, you were locked in, unless you were one of the chosen ones. Then you got a different set of rules. The host was silent for a moment, then asked, "And who made those rules?" Brooke didn't blink. Shaunie. The internet exploded. It wasn't an accusation anymore. It was a statement, a claim, and it couldn't be unsaid. That same night, a clip resurfaced from season 4 where Shaunie sat quietly while someone was ganged up on in the reunion. She had smiled, stayed silent, and then gave a generic comment about everyone having their own perspective. But now, with Brooke's story fresh in people's minds, that smile looked different. It looked calculated, cold, powerful. People started asking how much of what we watched was real. Was it ever real? Shaunie remained silent through it all. No interviews, no statements. Her team posted a message on her Instagram. "We are aware of the false narratives being spread and are handling them legally. Truth doesn't need defending. It reveals itself." But the silence didn't help. It only made people wonder more. If you're innocent, why not speak? Why not tell your side? And then came the final push. Brooke revealed she wasn't alone. She hinted that a small group of former cast members had been talking behind the scenes, sharing stories, considering a joint statement, and possibly a documentary. "We're done being puppets," she said. "This is about more than a show now. This is about what happens when women are used, twisted, and then thrown away." In the weeks that followed, the energy online turned electric. Every day brought a new leak, a new voice, a new receipt. More and more former cast members began backing Brooke, some openly, some with just subtle likes, reposts, or cryptic quotes. One posted, "Silence doesn't mean guilt, but it damn sure doesn't mean innocent either." Then it happened. Brooke, Brandy, and 2 others appeared on a live stream together. Unfiltered, no contracts, no producers, just 4 women, finally speaking for themselves. They shared what it was really like to film under pressure. They talked about being pushed into fights, their pain being turned into plot lines, and how every attempt to tell their truth was buried in edits. Brooke even revealed that some cast members were coached before reunions, told what questions were coming, who to defend, and who to target. And then came the twist no one saw coming. Brandy looked directly into the camera and said, "Shaunie didn't just manipulate the show. She built her brand off our trauma, off our pain. She knew exactly what she was doing." The internet didn't just react, it erupted. Think pieces dropped. Podcasts dissected every second of the live stream. Hashtags exploded, #survivingbasketball, wives, #reality exposed, #fire Shaunie. Mainstream media caught on. Blogs that never covered reality TV were writing about it. Even some Hollywood insiders began weighing in. A former executive producer, off the record, admitted, We all knew who the show was really built to protect. If she didn't want it aired, it didn't air. Simple as that. And then something strange happened. VH1 suddenly pulled several old episodes from streaming platforms, episodes that featured intense bullying, physical altercations, or moments where certain cast members had clear breakdowns. Fans noticed immediately. Why now? Why those episodes? A petition began circulating to investigate reality TV ethics, specifically shows that target women of color. Within days, it crossed 500,000 signatures. Public pressure mounted for Shaunie to say something, anything. Finally, she posted a video, sitting alone, no makeup, soft tone. I never intended to hurt anyone. I only wanted to create a platform where our voices could be heard. If I fell short of that, I'm sorry. But it wasn't enough. Comments were flooded with one word: accountability. Not apologies, not PR lines, just truth. And then, quietly, like a final nail in the coffin, a major network announced a new limited docuseries, Broken Scripts: The Truth Behind Reality TV. Executive producers, Brooke Bailey, Brandy Maxiel, and others who finally decided enough was enough. But here's the twist. Right before the announcement dropped, Shaunie made a move no one expected. She stepped down from all future projects tied to Basketball Wives. No warning, no farewell, just gone. People speculated, was she pushed? Did the network panic? Or did she finally realize the empire she built couldn't survive this truth? Brooke, on the other hand, had transformed from a cast member to a movement leader. What started as a few words in a live stream had shaken an entire franchise. And she never did it for revenge. She did it because she was tired of being silent. And that silence, once cracked, had become a roar because the truth always finds a mic.